The morning sun rose over Seoul like any other day. Children walked to school. Workers hurried to their offices. Street vendors sold hot food on every corner. Nobody knew that this beautiful morning would be their last peaceful day. Commander Ho stood at the military base, drinking his coffee. He was a tall man with tired eyes. He had served in the army for 20 years. He had seen many things, but nothing could prepare him for what was coming. The first sign came at exactly 9:47 a.m. The sky turned dark, not like clouds covering the sun. It was different. It was like someone had placed a giant shadow over the entire city. People stopped walking. They looked up. What they saw would change human history forever. Massive ships hung in the sky. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. Each ship was the size of a mountain. There were hundreds of them. They blocked the sun completely. The temperature dropped. Birds fell silent. The world held its breath. Ho dropped his coffee cup. It shattered on the ground, but he did not hear it. His radio crackled with panicked voices. Reports came from everywhere. These ships were not just over Seoul. They were over every major city on Earth. New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow. Every capital city had these monsters floating above them. In the Galaxy Council's command ship, Admiral Vex looked down at Earth with cold eyes. His species had conquered many worlds. Earth was just another planet on their list. The humans were primitive creatures. They had only reached their own moon. They posed no threat to the mighty council. "Begin the demonstration," Vex ordered. A bright light shot down from the ships. It hit the ground with the force of 1,000 nuclear bombs. Buildings melted like ice cream in summer. People turned to ash in seconds. The blast wave spread outward, destroying everything in its path. Ho was thrown backward. His body hit a concrete wall. Pain shot through his spine. His ears rang with a terrible sound. Through blurry eyes, he saw Seoul burning. The beautiful city he had protected all his life was gone. In its place was a sea of fire and smoke. He tried to stand but fell. His legs would not work. Around him, soldiers screamed. Some were on fire, some lay still, never to move again. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. Ho vomited, then he passed out. When he woke up, 3 days had passed. He was in a hospital tent. A young nurse named Min was changing his bandages. Her hands shook as she worked. Her eyes were red from crying. "What happened?" Ho asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Min stopped. She looked at him with hollow eyes. "They destroyed everything. Seoul is gone. 15 million people died in 1 hour. They did the same to other cities too." Ho felt his heart break. His wife had been in Seoul. His 2 children had been at school. They were all gone. Everything he loved had turned to dust while he was drinking coffee. The aliens had sent a message after the attack. They called themselves the Galaxy Council. They said Earth belonged to them now. Humans must surrender and become slaves. If humans refused, more cities would burn. News spread across the world. Some people wanted to surrender. They were scared. They had seen what the aliens could do, but something strange happened. Instead of breaking, humanity began to unite. In America, President Williams gave a speech. His voice was strong even though tears ran down his face. "We will not kneel," he said. "We will not surrender our freedom. We will fight." In China, General Li gathered his troops. "Our ancestors fought against impossible odds," he told them. "We will do the same." In Russia, Commander looked at maps of the alien ships. "Every enemy has a weakness," he said. "We will find theirs." But it was in Korea where the true fire burned. The survivors of Seoul had nothing left to lose. Their homes were ash. Their families were ghosts. All they had left was rage. Ho left the hospital before his wounds fully healed. He walked through the ruins of what used to be his city. He found the place where his apartment building once stood. Now it was just a crater filled with gray dust. He fell to his knees. He picked up a handful of ash. Somewhere in this dust were the remains of his wife. Somewhere here were his children. He could not tell which was which. Everything had become the same gray powder. "I will make them pay," he whispered. His words carried on the wind. "If it takes my whole life, I will make them pay." The Galaxy Council watched Earth from their ships. They expected crying. They expected begging. They expected humans to accept their fate like so many other species had done before. But humans were different. Instead of white flags, the Council saw something else. They saw nations working together for the first time in history. They saw factories running day and night. They saw soldiers training in every open space. They saw scientists sharing secrets that countries had hidden for decades. Admiral Vex frowned at his reports. "They should be broken," he said to his officers. "Why are they not broken?" His science officer checked the data. "Their activity has increased by 300% since our demonstration. They are building something." Vex laughed. It was a cold, ugly sound. "Let them build their little toys. Nothing they make can touch us. We are a million years ahead of them." But Vex did not understand humans. He did not know what happens when you take everything from someone. He did not know that humans become most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose. In a secret meeting room, leaders from every nation sat together. Old enemies shook hands. Countries that had pointed nuclear weapons at each other now shared their most secret technology. Humanity had one goal now: survival. Ho was called to this meeting. He walked in with bandages still on his body. The world leaders looked at him with respect. He had become a symbol. He was the man who survived Sol. He was the man who refused to break. "Commander Ho," said President Williams, "we are creating a new military force, one that combines all nations. We want you to help lead it." Ho looked around the room. He saw determination in every face. He saw the same fire that burned in his own heart. "I have one condition," he said. "When we are ready, I want to lead the first attack." The room was silent. Then General Lee nodded. "You have earned that right." Ho smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a wolf who had just spotted its prey. "Then let us begin. We have a lot of work to do and many debts to collect." Outside the window, the alien ship still hung in the sky. They thought they had won. They thought Earth was already theirs. They did not know that in the ashes of Sol, something terrible had been born. Human revenge was coming, and it would be brutal. 3 years passed since the attack on Sol. The alien ship still floated above Earth like dark clouds. They watched. They waited. They believed humans were slowly accepting their defeat. They could not have been more wrong. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a place no satellite could see, humanity was building something incredible. The base was called Project Phoenix. It stretched for 50 kilometers in every direction. Over 100,000 workers lived there, never seeing sunlight, never contacting their families. They had one mission: give humanity a fighting chance. Admiral walked through the massive construction halls. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and silver hair. Before the attack, she had been a naval commander. Now she led humanity's greatest secret project. The weight of the world rested on her shoulders, but she never showed weakness. "Report," she said to her assistant, a young engineer named Jun. Jun pulled up holographic displays. "The first 10 battleships are complete. We have successfully integrated the alien power source we captured from the crashed scout ship. Our weapons are ready for testing." Nodded. The crashed scout ship had been a gift from the universe. 1 month after the main attack, a small alien vessel had malfunctioned and crashed in the Australian outback. The crew died on impact, but their technology survived. Human scientists had worked day and night to understand it. At first, the alien technology seemed impossible. It was a million years more advanced than anything on Earth. But humans were clever. They were stubborn. They refused to give up. Slowly, piece by piece, they learned its secrets. The power source was the biggest breakthrough. It was a small device, no bigger than a basketball, but it produced more energy than 100 nuclear plants. Human engineers could not recreate it exactly, but they found a way to copy its function using Earth materials. It was not as elegant as the alien version, but it worked. In another section of the base, pilot Dong trained with his squadron. They flew simulation after simulation, learning to control the new hybrid ships. These ships combined human fighting spirit with alien speed and power. Dong was 25 years old. He had been a commercial pilot before the attack. His entire family lived in Tokyo. They had survived because the aliens only destroyed the city center, but he had watched on television as millions died. That day, he volunteered for military service. Again, he ordered his team. We need to be perfect. One mistake in real combat means death. His wingman, a woman named Bora, groaned through the radio. We have done this exercise 50 times today. Then we will do it 51 times, Dong replied. The aliens have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We need to close the gap with pure effort. Bora did not argue. She knew he was right. Every pilot in the squadron felt the same fire. They had all lost someone. They all wanted revenge. But revenge meant nothing if they died before reaching the enemy. Back in the command center, received a visitor. Commander Ho walked in, his old wounds now healed but leaving deep scars on his body and soul. He had spent the last 3 years building Earth's new united army. Soldiers from every nation trained together, learning to fight as one force. How goes the surface preparation? Asked. Ho sat down heavily. We have 3 million soldiers ready. Ground forces are equipped with the new plasma rifles. Tank divisions have been upgraded with alien armor plating, but none of it matters if we cannot get past their ships in orbit. Smiled slightly. Come, I want to show you something. She led him through long corridors and security checkpoints. Finally, they reached a massive underground hangar. Ho stopped breathing when he saw what was inside. 12 enormous battleships rested in launching bays. Each one was beautiful and deadly. They were painted black with red stripes, the colors humanity had chosen for its new united fleet. The design was aggressive, all sharp angles and massive gun ports. These were not ships meant for exploration. These were ships meant for war. They are magnificent, Ho whispered. We call them the Vengeance class, said proudly. Each one can match 10 alien cruisers in firepower. The shields are based on our understanding of their technology, modified for human production. And the weapons, she pointed to the huge gun barrels. These fire projectiles at half the speed of light. No alien shield can stop them. Ho felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. When can we launch? 6 more months. We need to train the crews and complete the supply ships. We also need to finish our surprise. Surprise. Smile grew wider. Follow me. They walked to an even deeper section of the base. Here, fewer people worked and security was even. They entered a room filled with strange devices. Scientists moved carefully between them, running tests and taking notes. We captured some interesting items from the crashed scout ship, explained, including their communication equipment. We have been listening to their channels for 3 years. Ho understood immediately. You know their plans. Better than that, we know their weaknesses. The aliens think their shields are perfect. They are not. We found a frequency that disrupts their shield generators for about 30 seconds, long enough for our weapons to reach them. Ho laughed. It was the first genuine laugh he had made since Soul burned. They have no idea what is coming. None at all. They think we are primitive animals. They believe we are sitting on the surface, crying and waiting to become slaves. They have not even bothered to scan the ocean floors. Meanwhile, on the alien command ship, Admiral Vex was growing bored. 3 years of watching humans had produced nothing interesting. They seemed to have accepted their fate. Activity on the surface had returned to almost normal. Factories worked. People went about their lives. Perhaps we should begin the occupation, suggested his second officer. The resistance seems broken. Vex nodded slowly. Send a message to the Council. Tell them Earth is ready for harvesting. We will begin moving ground forces in 1 month. The message traveled across the galaxy at faster-than-light speed. The Galaxy Council received it with pleasure. Earth had been expected to fall quickly. Humans were just another weak species, they thought. Soon they would work in council mines and factories, their spirit crushed forever. But they did not see the truth. They did not see the millions of humans working in secret. They did not see the weapons being built. They did not see the anger that burned in every human heart. Called a final meeting of all project leaders. The room was full of tired faces, but also proud ones. They had done the impossible. In 6 months we launch, she announced. Operation Payback begins. Our target is the alien outpost on Mars. It is their main supply point for Earth occupation. If we destroy it, we cut their fleet in half. Dong raised his hand. What about the ships in Earth orbit? They will respond immediately. That is where the second part of the plan comes in, replied. Half our fleet will engage the Mars outpost. The other half will hide behind the Moon. When the Earth fleet moves to help Mars, we hit them from behind. They will be caught between 2 forces. The plan was risky. Everything had to work perfectly. One mistake could doom humanity. But everyone in the room knew there was no other choice. Surrender meant slavery. Fight meant a chance at freedom. Ho stood up. His voice was steady and strong. For 3 years we have hidden and built and prepared. For 3 years we have carried our grief in silence. Now it is time. Now we show these aliens what humans can do. Now we take our revenge. The room erupted in cheers. Scientists hugged engineers. Soldiers saluted. For the first time since the attack, humanity felt something powerful, the belief that they could win. Far above, the alien ships floated peacefully. Their crews relaxed. Their commanders made jokes about how easy the Earth conquest had been. They had no idea that beneath the ocean, humanity's fury was about to be unleashed. The countdown to war had begun. The day finally arrived. Captain sat in the command chair of the flagship, her heart beating fast but her face showing nothing but calm. The ship was named Remembrance, a reminder of everyone they had lost. Around her, 300 crew members worked at their stations. They were the best humanity had to offer. All systems ready, reported her first officer, a man named. He had lost his entire village in the attack on Korea. Like everyone else, he was here for revenge. Looked at the main screen. It showed the other ships of her fleet, 6 massive battleships waiting in the underwater base. Above them, kilometers of ocean pressed down. Beyond that, alien ships still controlled Earth's skies, but not for much longer. Open channel to all ships, ordered. Her voice traveled to every vessel. This is Captain. For 3 years we have waited. For 3 years we have worked in darkness while our enemies laughed at us. Today we rise from the ocean. Today we show them that humanity will never kneel. All ships prepare for surface breach. The engines of the fleet roared to life. The sound echoed through the underwater base like thunder. Workers on the platforms watched with tears in their eyes. They had built these ships with their own hands. Now they would see if their work would save humanity. One by one, the battleships rose through the launch tubes. Water rushed around them as they climbed toward the surface. The journey took 10 minutes, 10 minutes of holding breath, 10 minutes of prayer. Then they broke through. The ships exploded out of the ocean like angry whales. Water sprayed in all directions. Sunlight hit their black hulls for the first time. Within seconds, they were climbing into the sky, their engines leaving trails of white fire. On the alien command ship, alarms screamed. Officers ran to their stations in panic. Admiral Vex stared at his screen in disbelief. 6 human warships had appeared from nowhere. They were already leaving Earth's atmosphere. Impossible, he whispered. Humans cannot build such things. They are heading toward Mars. his tactical officer reported, voice shaking. "Speed is. This cannot be right. They are traveling at half-light speed." Vex's face turned pale. This was not possible. Humans were primitive. They could barely reach their own moon. How had they built ships that matched Council technology? "Send all available ships to intercept," he commanded. "Destroy them before they reach Mars." The alien fleet above Earth began to move. 30 cruisers turned toward Mars, their engines pushing them to maximum speed. They would catch the human fleet before it reached the outpost, or so they believed. Captain watched her screens carefully. Everything was going according to plan. The aliens were taking the bait. They were so confident in their superiority that they never considered it might be a trap. "Enemy fleet is pursuing," reported. "They will catch us in 4 hours at current speed." Smiled, "Let them come. Signal the second fleet. It is time." Behind the moon, 6 more human battleships waited. Admiral commanded this group personally. She had wanted to be in the first wave, but the plan required her here. The trap would not work without perfect timing. "Signal received," her communications officer announced. "First Fleet has drawn out the Earth Defense Force." Stood up, all ships move to attack position. Target the remaining alien vessels in Earth orbit. We hit them fast and hard. No survivors. The Second Fleet emerged from the moon's shadow. They moved silently through space, weapons charging. The aliens left behind to guard Earth never saw them coming. The attack lasted exactly 8 minutes. Human ships fired their kinetic weapons, launching projectiles at speeds nothing could dodge. Alien shields flickered as the disruption frequency weakened them. Then the projectiles hit. Alien cruisers exploded one after another. Their hulls could not handle the impact. Metal twisted. Engines detonated. Crew members died without even understanding what had killed them, watched without mercy. She remembered the 15 million who died in Seoul. She remembered the billions who had lived in fear for 3 years. "No prisoners," she ordered. "Leave nothing but debris." Within 10 minutes, Earth's orbit was clear. For the first time in 3 years, no alien ship looked down on humanity's home. On the surface, people stared at the sky in confusion. The dark shadows that had haunted them were gone. Some people cried. Some cheered. Most simply stood in shock. Meanwhile's fleet had reached Mars. The alien outpost was massive, built into the red planet's largest crater. Hundreds of structures covered the ground. Ships sat in docking bays. Supply depots stored enough material to support a century of occupation. All of it was about to burn. "Launch all missiles," commanded. "Target their fuel storage first." Human missiles screamed across the Martian sky. The aliens had some warning this time. Their defense systems activated. Shields went up. Fighter craft launched. But it was not enough. The disruption frequency hit the base shields. They flickered and died for 30 precious seconds. In those seconds, human missiles reached their targets. The fuel storage exploded in a fireball visible from space. Secondary explosions followed as the fire spread. Alien fighters tried to engage the human fleet. Dong led his squadron against them. He had trained for this moment for 3 years. Every simulation, every exercise had led to this. "All wings follow my lead," he commanded. "Stay in formation. Use burst fire only." The space battle was beautiful and terrible. Human fighters danced around alien craft, faster and more agile than anyone expected. Dong's plasma cannons tore through enemy shields. Bora covered his flank, shooting down any alien that tried to approach. "This is for Tokyo," Dong whispered as he destroyed another enemy. "This is for Seoul. This is for everyone." The pursuing alien fleet realized too late that they had been tricked. Behind them, Earth was under attack. Ahead of them, Mars burned. They were caught between 2 human forces with nowhere to run. Admiral Vex screamed orders, but his fleet was in chaos. Half his ships tried to return to Earth. Half continued toward Mars. The formation broke apart. Discipline collapsed. For the first time in their long history, the Galaxy Council was losing a battle. Second Fleet caught up with them near the asteroid belt. Human battleships appeared from behind large rocks, surrounding the confused alien vessels. It was not a battle, it was a slaughter. Admiral said quietly, "Enemy fleet is requesting communication." Raised her eyebrow, "Put them through." Admiral Vex appeared on screen. His face showed fear for the first time. "Human Commander, I am willing to discuss terms. We can end this peacefully." Stared at him. She thought about Soul. She thought about her brother who had been there when the bombs fell. She thought about every human who had suffered under alien occupation. "You want to discuss terms?" Her voice was ice. "You killed 15 million people in 1 hour. You tried to make us slaves. You laughed at our pain. And now you want peace." Vex swallowed hard. "We can negotiate. The Council will give you favorable conditions." "Here are my terms," said. "You have 1 hour to broadcast a surrender signal. After that, I destroy every ship in your fleet. No exceptions. No second chances." "The Council will never accept this. They will send more ships. They will destroy your entire planet." Smiled coldly. "Let them try, we will be waiting, but you will not be alive to see it." She cut the communication. Around her, the crew waited in silence. "What are your orders, Captain?" asked. Looked at the alien fleet on her screen. Broken, burning, defeated. "Give them their hour," she said, "then finish them all." The hour passed slowly. Some alien ships tried to run. Human vessels caught them easily. Others tried to fight. They lasted minutes at most. When the hour ended, Admiral Vex's command ship was surrounded by 12 human battleships. No surrender signal came. "Open fire," ordered. The human fleet released everything they had. The alien command ship lasted exactly 4 seconds. Admiral Vex died without seeing the end. He never understood how primitive humans had beaten him. He never understood that human rage was stronger than any technology. Across Earth, celebrations began. People flooded the streets screaming with joy. For the first time in 3 years, they were free. But in the command centers, the leaders knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The Galaxy Council would send more ships. The war had just started. Turned to her crew. "Set course for Earth. We have won the first battle. Now we prepare for the real war." The human fleet turned toward home, leaving behind the burning wreckage of an alien armada. The hunt had begun. 2 years had passed since the Battle of Mars. The Galaxy Council had sent 3 more fleets to reclaim Earth. All 3 had been destroyed. Human technology improved with every captured ship. Human factories now covered the moon, producing warships at incredible speed. What started as a desperate defense had become something the galaxy had never seen, a human offensive. General Sung Ho stood on the bridge of the supercarrier Victory. It was the largest ship humanity had ever built, carrying 500 fighters and enough firepower to crack a small moon. He was 60 years old, with gray hair and a face marked by decades of military service. Before the invasion, he had been preparing for retirement. Now he commanded humanity's most powerful fleet. "Status report," he ordered. "All 12 task forces are in position," replied his aide. "We are ready to begin Operation Storm." Sung Ho looked at the star map floating before him. It showed the Galaxy Council's territory, thousands of star systems spread across a quarter of the Milky Way. 12 target systems were marked in red. Today, humanity would strike all 12 at once. "The enemy still thinks we are defending," Sung Ho said quietly. "They have no idea we are coming for their homes." The plan had taken 18 months to prepare. Human spy drones, smaller than a coin, had traveled to Council space. They had mapped enemy defenses, identified weak points, and located valuable targets. The information they gathered was worth more than gold. Strategist had designed the attack. She was young, only 32, but her mind worked faster than any computer. She had studied every battle in human history, every victory and every defeat. Then she had studied council battles. What she found surprised everyone. They have not fought a real war in centuries, she had reported. Their tactics are ancient. They rely on superior technology, not skill. We can beat them. Now her plans were about to be tested. 12 human fleets jumped to light speed simultaneously. Ships vanished from Earth's solar system, reappearing hours later in the heart of enemy space. Sung Ho's fleet arrived at the system. It was a major manufacturing hub for the Council. Factories orbited 3 planets producing weapons and ships. Defense platforms surrounded everything. On paper, it was untouchable. "Enemy ships detected," announced the tactical officer. 50 cruisers, 200 fighters. "We have 30 battleships and 300 fighters," Sung Ho replied calmly. "We have the advantage. Begin attack pattern 7. Human ships spread out in a complex formation. It looked chaotic to enemy observers, but every position was calculated. The pattern created overlapping fields of fire while minimizing vulnerability. Had tested it in 2,000 simulations. It had worked every time. The battle began with missile launches. Human missiles carried the shield disruption device, improved over 2 years of research. Now it could disable shields for nearly a minute. Enemy defenses crumbled as the disruption wave hit them. Then came the kinetic weapons. Projectiles traveling at incredible speed slammed into alien cruisers. Each hit was devastating. Alien ships had never faced weapons like this. Their armor was designed for energy beams, not physical impacts. They shattered like glass hit by hammers. "First wave eliminated," reported the tactical officer, moving to secondary targets. The factories were next. Human bombers swooped down, releasing precision bombs. Each explosion was surgical, targeting power systems and control centers. The factories did not explode. They simply stopped working, becoming useless metal boxes. "We want their resources," Sung Ho explained to his staff. "Destroying everything is wasteful. We disable, then we take." Within 6 hours, the system belonged to humanity. Enemy survivors fled toward the inner council systems, carrying tailies of the human attack. Fear spread faster than any message could travel. Similar reports came from the other 11 systems. Human fleets had achieved total victory in 8 of them. 3 others faced stronger resistance but were winning. 1 fleet had taken heavy losses but refused to retreat. Commander Ho led that fleet personally. His target was the system, the Council's oldest military academy. Generations of alien officers had trained there. Destroying it was both strategic and symbolic, but the defenders fought with unexpected skill. 3 ships down, reported Ho's first officer, shields at 40%. Ho watched his fleet struggle. The enemy here was better trained, better organized. They used tactics he had not seen before. For a moment, doubt crept into his mind. Then he remembered Seoul. He remembered the ash he had held in his hands. His doubt vanished, replaced by cold determination. "All ships new formation. We are going straight through their center." "Sir, that is extremely dangerous." "They expect us to be careful. They expect us to retreat when we take losses. Show them how wrong they are." The human fleet charged forward. It was not a careful maneuver. It was a punch to the face. Alien commanders watched in disbelief as the damaged human ships accelerated toward them instead of pulling back. The collision was devastating for both sides. Ships exploded, metal twisted, thousands died in seconds, but the human ships kept pushing. They refused to stop. They refused to die quietly. Something broke in the alien defense, not their ships, their will. They had never seen enemies fight like this. They had never seen creatures willing to sacrifice everything for victory. Fear took over. 1 alien cruiser turned to run, then another. Then the whole formation collapsed. Ho's surviving ships chased them down mercilessly. No alien vessel escaped the system. The military academy was captured intact, along with thousands of prisoners and priceless information. Back on Earth, received reports from all 12 battlefields. Her hands shook slightly as she read them. The plan had worked better than she had dreamed. The Council had lost more ships in one day than they had lost in the previous 1,000 years. "This changes everything," she told Admiral. "They cannot recover from this quickly. Their production is crippled. Their best training facility is gone. We have maybe 6 months before they can mount a serious response." "Then we have 6 months to take more territory," replied. "Where do we strike next?" Pointed to a cluster of systems near the galactic core. "Here. These systems control their communication network. If we take them, Council forces cannot coordinate. They become separate pieces instead of one army." The second wave of attacks began 3 weeks later. This time, 20 systems fell, then 30 more. Human fleets pushed deeper and deeper into enemy space. Every victory brought more resources, more technology, more confidence. The Galaxy Council finally understood their mistake. They had attacked Earth expecting an easy conquest. They had found something else entirely. Humans were not weak creatures to be enslaved. They were predators who had been asleep. Now they were awake and hungry. Emergency meetings filled council chambers. Leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted to continue fighting. All of them were afraid. "We must offer peace," declared one council member. "Every day we wait, they grow stronger." "Peace," shouted another. "After what they did to our systems, they would never accept." "Then we are doomed. Our fleet reserves are almost empty. Our factories are captured or destroyed. What choice do we have?" The debate raged for days. Meanwhile, human ships continued their advance. System after system fell. The Council's mighty empire, built over 1,000,000 years, was crumbling in months. General Sung Ho received new orders from Earth. Operation Final Push was approved. The target was the Council itself. It was time to end this war once and for all. "Prepare all available ships," he ordered. "Tell the crew to rest well tonight. Tomorrow we finish what they started." Across the fleet, humans prepared for the final battle. Some wrote letters to families. Some prayed. Some simply sat in silence, thinking about everything that had happened since that terrible morning when the sky turned dark. In his quarters, Commander Ho looked at an old photograph. It showed his wife and children, smiling on a sunny day in Seoul. The photograph was faded now, but the faces were still clear. "We are almost there," he whispered to them. "Soon justice will be done." He put the photograph away and walked to the bridge. Around him, the largest human fleet ever assembled was ready to jump. 300 warships, carrying the fury of an entire species. The jump engines activated. The fleet vanished into light. The final battle was about to begin. The Council was called Prime. It had been the center of galactic civilization for over 1,000,000 years. Beautiful cities covered its surface. Ancient monuments reached toward the sky. Trillions of beings lived there, never knowing war, never knowing fear. Until now. The human fleet emerged from light speed in perfect formation. 300 ships appeared in the space above Prime like angels of death. Their black hulls reflected the light of the alien sun. Their weapons were already charged. General Sung Ho looked at the planet below. It was beautiful, he admitted. Blue oceans, green forests, white clouds. It reminded him of Earth. For a moment he felt something like pity. Then he remembered Seoul. He remembered the bodies. He remembered the ash. "All ships hold position," he ordered. "We wait for their response." The Council had expected this moment for weeks. Their remaining fleet was gathered here, the last defense of their civilization. 150 ships, half the size of the human force. They knew they could not win, but they would fight anyway. Council Supreme Leader watched the human ships from his palace. His hands trembled. He was 700 years old, the oldest leader in Council history. He had seen empires rise and fall. He had always believed his civilization would last forever. Now he was not sure it would survive the day. "Send a message," he ordered his aide. "Tell them we want to talk." The message reached General Sung Ho within minutes. He read it with cold eyes. They want to negotiate now, after everything they did. Commander Ho stood beside him. "Do we accept?" Sung Ho was silent for a long moment. He could destroy this civilization with a single order. Part of him wanted to. The rage he had carried for years screamed for blood, but another part remembered something important. "We are not them," he finally said. "We will hear their words, but we will not forget our dead." A meeting was arranged on a neutral ship. Human shuttles carried General Sung Ho, Commander Ho, and Admiral to the location. Council's supreme leader came alone, a sign of submission. The chamber was cold and empty. No decorations, no comforts, just a table and chairs. Two civilizations facing each other across a few meters of space. Spoke first. His voice was old and tired. "We wish to end this conflict. The Council recognizes that we made a terrible mistake attacking Earth. We offer unconditional surrender." Sung Ho studied him carefully. "Your people killed billions of humans. You tried to enslave our species. Now you sit here and call it a mistake. A mistake is forgetting a name. A mistake is dropping a cup. What you did was genocide." Lowered his head. "There is nothing I can say to justify what we did. The Council believed humans were inferior beings. We were wrong. We were horribly, terribly wrong." Ho leaned forward. "You showed us no mercy in soul. Why should we show you any?" "Because you are better than us," replied quietly. "That is what we have learned. Humans are not inferior. You are stronger than any species we have ever encountered. Not in technology, not in numbers, in spirit. You fought when you should have died. You won when you should have lost. And now you hold our fate in your hands." The room was silent. Finally spoke. "What exactly are you offering?" "Everything. Full withdrawal from all contested systems. Payment of reparations for the damage we caused. Technology sharing. Trade rights. Whatever you want. We only ask that you spare our civilian population." Sung Ho exchanged glances with his companions. They had discussed this possibility. Humanity had prepared demands, expecting to force them through violence. To receive unconditional surrender was beyond their hopes. "We have conditions," Sung Ho said. "Not requests, conditions." "Name them." Ambassador 1 stepped forward. She had been waiting in the back of the room. Her job was diplomacy. Her specialty was making sure enemies stayed defeated. "First," she began, "the Council will pay reparations equal to 10% of its total economic output for the next 100 years. This money will rebuild what you destroyed and fund human expansion into space." Nodded. It was a harsh demand, but his people would survive. "Second, all Council military technology will be shared with humanity. Everything. No exceptions. No secrets." Another nod, though this one came slower. "Third, the Council will officially recognize humanity as an equal partner in galactic civilization. No species under Council authority will ever again be classified as inferior. That is a significant change to our entire society." "It is necessary," one replied. "Your arrogance caused this war. We will not allow it to happen again." Closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet with tears. "Agreed. All your conditions are accepted." "There is one more thing," Ho said. His voice was like stone. "I want the names of everyone who planned the attack on Earth. Every admiral, every politician, every scientist who said humans could be safely enslaved. I want them all." Hesitated. "What will happen to them?" "They will face trial for crimes against humanity. If found guilty, they will be punished according to our laws. Some of those people are powerful. They have supporters." Ho stood up. He walked around the table until he was standing directly in front of I do not care how powerful they are. I do not care how many supporters they have. They murdered my family. They murdered 15 million people in 1 hour. There is nowhere in this galaxy they can hide from human justice. Saw something in Ho's eyes. It was not hatred. It was something worse. It was certainty. This human would hunt every person responsible for the attack, no matter how long it took. Running was pointless. Hiding was pointless. There was only surrender or death. "You will have the names," whispered. The formal surrender was signed 3 days later. Ships from both civilizations gathered to witness the moment. Council leaders stood before human commanders and admitted their defeat to the entire galaxy. Broadcasting stations carried the ceremony to every inhabited world. Billions of beings watched as Supreme Leader spoke the words that ended 1,000,000 years of Council dominance. The Galaxy Council surrenders unconditionally to the United Human Federation. We acknowledge our crimes against humanity and accept full responsibility. We submit to human judgment and promise eternal peace between our peoples. General Sung Ho accepted the surrender document. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt something release. The weight he had carried since the war began finally lifted. "The United Human Federation accepts your surrender," he announced. "Let it be known throughout the galaxy, we did not seek this war. We did not want conquest. We only wanted to live in peace. But when attacked, we defended ourselves. And we won." He paused, looking directly at the cameras broadcasting to trillions of beings. "Let this be a lesson to anyone who thinks humanity is weak. We are not conquerors. We are not tyrants, but we will never again allow anyone to threaten our home. Attack us and we will respond. Harm our people and we will find you. There is no distance great enough, no fortress strong enough to protect those who make enemies of Earth." The ceremony ended. The war was over. Humanity had won. 1 week later, Commander Ho returned to Earth. He took a shuttle down to Korea and walked to what used to be Seoul. The city was being rebuilt. Construction machines worked day and night. New buildings rose from the ashes. He walked to a specific spot. A small memorial had been built there. It listed the names of everyone who died in the initial attack. 15 million names carved in stone. He found 3 names near the middle: his wife, his daughter, his son. Ho knelt before the memorial. For the first time since the war began, he allowed himself to cry. All the pain, all the anger, all the grief came pouring out. "I did it," he whispered through his tears. "I promised I would make them pay. I promised I would get justice. It is done now. They have been beaten. They have been humbled. The ones who ordered your deaths will face trial." He placed his hand on the cold stone. "I wish you could see what we built. We are among the stars now. We have ships that travel faster than light. We have allies on 100 worlds. The species that tried to destroy us now bows to us." A gentle wind blew across the memorial. It felt almost like a touch on his shoulder. "I miss you every day. I will never stop missing you, but I know you would be proud, not of the killing, not of the war, but of what came after. We proved that humanity cannot be broken. We proved that even in our darkest moment, we can find the strength to rise." He stood up slowly. Behind him, the new city sparkled in the sunlight. Before him, the memorial stood as an eternal reminder. "Sleep well," he said softly. "The war is over, Earth is safe, and we will never forget." He walked back toward the shuttle, leaving the memorial behind. Above him, human ships patrolled the sky. On 100 worlds, human settlers built new homes. In the great halls of galactic power, human ambassadors shaped the future. The Galaxy Council had learned a brutal lesson. They had attacked Earth expecting easy prey. They found warriors instead. They expected surrender. They found defiance. They expected to crush humanity. Instead, humanity crushed them. The era of human expansion had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the stars, the memory of Soul burned eternal, a reminder of what humanity had lost and what humanity had won. The end.